go. Welcome to the What Turns You On podcast, intimate conversations with women that are living in their radiance, their turn on, and their pleasure. Today, I am honored and so happy and grateful to have Sister Goddess Krista Connerly here with us. And I'm just going to share some of the beautiful things that she is creating and bringing into the world at this time. Krista is a lifelong creative with a master's in fine arts. She has years as a professor and as an artistic director at a world renowned artist residency program. She has been studying different healing modalities, which I just thought that right there just like fucking turns me on in so many ways. I'm looking forward to diving in on that. She has loved these things ever since she was a teenager. She has advanced mentorships in mind body medicine, Qigong, Reiki, tapping, and now she is doing pleasure coaching, which is so beautiful. These days, she is blending her background in the arts with healing, embodiment, and pleasure, helping women to ignite their sacred feminine and lead from their authentic brilliance. She is all about savoring life's small pleasures, like sipping her favorite poo her tea. I'm pretty sure I said that one wrong. We'll get
Where
corrector. Yeah, we'll correct that here in just a minute. Laughing with her kid or feeling the sun on her skin. Krista's mission, she is here solely to help women reconnect with the magic of their bodies, bring their visions to the world, and create a life that literally shimmers with their beauty. So help me welcome wonderful, gorgeous goddess, Krista. So, girl, what turns you
yeah.
on?
Oh, what turns me on right now? What turns me on is seeing women like come into their magnificence and seeing that the way that they do it is actually through all of the messiness and like through all of the parts that they've like disowned and through all of the pieces that the patriarchy has told us are not important or has used us for their own pleasure. So right now I am so turned on like helping women to unfold their own healing so that they can bring their gifts to this world.
Mm.
I have other turn-ons too, but we'll start there.
Well, you know what? That right there, like I'm feeling that vibe. And it is such a powerful turn on when we step into the truth of who we are as women. We realize we have always been meant to live and steep and embody pleasure. Would you, so as with all of the healing modalities that you have trained in and you use and you incorporate, how does pleasure rank up there for you as a healing modality?
Oh, I think pleasure is the healing modality of all healing modalities. Being able to attend to how you actually feel in this world and how you relate to this world. And it's so much about what you're able to receive. Like we're here on this planet not to like try to get past it and or to get past ourselves, but to like really be in it and like play in it. And pleasure is the way that we are here in our bodies playing in this beautiful realm that we've been given. And it's also the way that we heal and the way that we, even receive like the sun in coming and touching your skin, or the wind blowing past you, or the way that you smell your lover. Like it's all pleasure. Like it's all the ways that we are taking in the world. And then as a creative who
Yes.
works with creatives,
Yes.
you know, pleasure and what I like to call your creative erotic, like that's the source of how you also give yourself to the world, the gifts that you have to give. So it's like there's so much pleasure in expression of who you are as a woman.
Okay, define what is your definition of creative erotic? Did I say or erotic creative? Which one was it?
Creative erotic, you could say it either way, but
Yeah.
yeah,
How did that come about for you?
it came about just feeling that sense of how the creative and the, you know, the erotic, the eros, is intimately connected. And for me, like I studied all of these healing modalities for a long time, but really when everything came into like motion for me was after the birth of my child.
Mm.
And I kind of went through this very dark night of the soul, you know, just severe anxiety and other health issues that came up because of that. And, you know, complete cutoff from desire, complete cutoff from pleasure.
Mhm. I
And
understand.
so part of my healing journey was really that reconnection with that part of myself that was, you know, that fueled me as an artist originally, that I realized was so connected to the erotic. So my ability to make work, my ability to show up in the world is that core like essence of eros and creativity that comes out of me. And now it like it influences, it's how I parent, right? And it's how I make work, and it's how I coach, and it's all that. How can I connect with that core of eroticism from which creativity flows? And it doesn't need to be like creativity like, oh, it's a piece of, you know, it's a painting or whatever. It's like all of the things that we're doing in our life are creative. Like creativity is the currency. I heard somebody say creativity is the currency of your currency. Like it's your ability to respond to a situation. So it's that tapping into that creative erotic that I feel is so potent and powerful. And what we're doing in this work that we're all doing in Mama Gina's pleasure coaching certification.
Right? So,
Yeah.
like, the thing that I just absolutely love is how you have literally brought all of, and I know that we all do this, but each goddess has her own specific flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But witnessing how all of the experiences, the trainings, the skills, the gifts, the all of it, and how we alchemize it, and we finally realize that ultimate peak of alchemy is pleasure. All of these things bring us so much joy and happiness, aka pleasure, right? And so I think it's just so amazing how we come to this space, and it's like we have to go through those dark nights of the soul to have that be taken away from us, or we let it go, either one, right? To be able to appreciate that there's something missing, and we get to be the one to fill that back up. Yeah, we have help and assistance, but it's ultimately our choice. How did you come into the pleasure scene with Mama Gina? How did you come across her work? What has that journey been like for you? Because this erotic, creative, erotic, both ways, is just so powerful and potent in the way that you just express yourself.
For me, the journey to pleasure, I mean, this was a piece of my work early on, right? This was the artwork that I was making when I was like fresh out of grad school in 2001. I would press up against strangers on a bus, very different times.
Oh,
COVID
okay.
times, but still, like, so what happened was I was on the bus and I was just sitting there, and it was cold. It was in Pittsburgh, where I went to graduate school at Carnegie Mellon, and there was somebody sitting next to me, and he had this like big puffy coat, and we went around a corner, and like usually, when you go around a corner, like you keep your body upright. But what I did, I didn't even think about it. It's just like I forgot. I let myself lean into him, and there was just something about the experience of like, oh, like I'm leaning into him. I'm allowing the experience of this sensation in my body. I'm connecting, like I feel more connected to him. Like I don't have this kind of like envelope of isolation around me. And so I decided to make a practice of it, of like every time I go on the bus, I'm going to press up against a stranger. And I'm started keeping a log of those interactions. And then the work that I made was always like participatory. So rather than like just tell people, okay, this is what I did, what I wanted to do was invite them into the conversation of like, what happens when you allow yourself to like follow your desire, like even if it's just the desire of feeling someone close to you, what happens in these spaces where we're just meant to go like from point A to point B, and we're not meant to bring the fullness of ourselves? What happens when you allow yourself desire in that space? Like, how does desire change your experience in an urban environment or in our contemporary cultural environment? In this environment where our desire is taken from us and then like sold back to us, something that we have to like buy to fulfill. Like, what happens when like desire is just overflow and you being the space? So this was part of my work for a long time. And then I lost it. I completely lost that part of myself. Partially, it was a little bit before motherhood, and like we went through a big journey we had issues with fertility, and so it took us a long time. We went through IVF. There was the death of my ex, who had two boys, and one of them, who had lived with us for a while, was killed in a car accident. And it was coming home from his funeral that I decided to go forth with trying to become pregnant, because it was like, oh, the worst has happened to him and he was absolutely worth it. So that kind of started the motherhood journey for me. And so, but it also like was kind of a process of losing this part of myself that I had been connected to. So the infertility, that experience, and then motherhood, which was actually brought up all of the anxiety and all of the issues. And trauma, little t trauma from childhood, all of this stuff felt like a big disconnect. Like I just felt annihilated, and I felt like there's no way that like both my child and I will survive this experience. Like if I'm giving him what he needs, I will physically not survive. Like we had feeding issues. I was feeding him for 12 hours a day around the clock. So I had like an hour and a half window to sleep. And then I just developed severe insomnia from the sleep diligence that I had. And anyway, all of this connection to who I was completely fell away. I was annihilated. And so it was really the first step back in was I need to heal myself.
Yep.
And so then that was when I did the mind body medicine and did kind of an advanced mentorship in that. And it was all about just how do we actually feel where we are, right? Like you got to feel it to heal it. And so it was just a big kind of like experience of going through and feeling all of the stuff that I had been trying to suppress so that I could survive
Yeah.
and so that I could give to my kid. Um, but it was that process of actually feeling it. And then the woman that I had studied with had done like mastery with
Mm.
Regina and said, you know, if any of you are interested in this, you know, sensuality aspect of it, I really recommend, you know, working with her.
Yeah.
And so I kind of followed Mama Gina for a while and was interested in the emails that she sent out.
As we
And I
do
did like,
before we commit,
yeah,
because this is
yeah. And I
scary at first.
Yeah,
We're like,
and I
what's
did a
going
5 day, you know, one of her 5 day challenges,
Yeah.
but didn't commit to the boot camp. And then everything just kind of lined up when she put forward that first call for the pleasure coaching certification, and I was ready to dive in.
And that
And
was last year, right?
mhm, yeah,
Yes.
it was
You're a big
2022.
sister
It
here.
actually started in 2022.
Okay,
So
right.
2022, 2023. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. You know, I like all of a sudden I kind of want to go press up against strangers and
Uh-huh.
do my own pleasure research.
Yeah.
Like I seriously, like there is some serious juiciness in that space of being able to allow ourselves to say, this feels really good to lean up, because what do you feel? You feel that person, but you feel the warmth of their body too.
Mhm.
And that just feels amazing, even in that brief moment, right? So I'm like, oh, all in the name of pleasure research.
Yes.
Let's go do this, right?
Yeah.
You went through pleasure mastery, or pardon me, the tri certification. And how did that shift you and elevate you and your business and bring you to where you're at in this now moment? Like, what can we glean from that experience of accomplishment?
Yeah. Well, when I started, I mean, my relationship with my sensuality was, it was like a little dim little ember. You know, it was there, but it wasn't, I didn't yet have that through line of communication.
Yeah.
So it really helped me to develop that, but also just the tools, like being able to, and I had like a brutal spring with the death of a father-in-law that as I was going through that, and just a lot of other stuff happening at the time. And like having those tools, going through the program, having those tools as I was going through that, like being able to go to the bathroom at a family dinner and just like swamp in the bathroom or take a car ride and like swamp in the car or like finding these spaces to allow myself to feel
Mm-hmm.
and turn on, like that was the key, like that I hadn't yet been doing, is like I had been doing all the feeling work, but like the like, okay, now let's turn it on. So having that, I think, really up leveled my feeling of power and connection, right? And just my light. And then the big thing that I have gotten is my sisters, like hands down. And
Yes.
I think Regina is genius at making a container for
Mm-hmm.
sisterhood. And those people have become so like important in my life, and they have really been beautiful like mirrors to me and shown me the things that I could do that I did not know or think that I could do. And so really like the sisterhood.
Thank you for that beautiful share. As I sit in just reflecting on the sisterhood that I have found within the program, um, I desire these women to be with me for the rest of my life. I desire to be with them for the rest of their life, because there's that power, that anchoring, that we know that women help women heal. And so coming in and being able to have that connection, and as we're growing our businesses, as we're putting ourselves out there in a world that literally is crying for us, they're crying for pleasure. They don't realize it. They want joy, they want happiness, they want play, aka pleasure, right? And they're desiring this, and they're yearning for this, and this is what we're meant to do. And yet people get afraid of it. But when you're backed by this powerful sisterhood, like we're like, we're doing this, we're going to make some magic here. What is it that you would like to leave? Like, what is your message that you want to share with the viewers here? Something that is just burning inside of you, that like, it's time that this be told.
Yeah. There are so many ways I think that we're being called forth now to create, to reimagine and create a new version of this world. And that version is rooted in the divine feminine. And like, I love this quote from Regina that, how does she say it? It's, there's no greater untapped natural resource like than the power of a woman. I'm misquoting it, but like if every woman was tapped in to that, to her power, the things that we could do in the world right now. And it's really time, like it's really time. And also I think the other piece of it is, and this piece just dropped in for me on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
um
Just in time for
yeah,
this.
is is we, I think, tend to think like we have to get out of our own way. And everything, like everything that we feel, our rage, our desperation, our sorrow, our hope, like all of these things, and the ones that we don't want to feel, like they are all the way. We are the way. Like we are our own way. It is through
Mm-hmm.
those pieces of us that we actually tap into our power. It is not despite the parts of ourselves that we want to forget, or that we like our little personality traits, or the things that we think that are holding us back. It is because of all of those things. And so I feel like each woman is kind of, we all have our own ways that we've been wounded, either in our families, in our culture, and we're all unfolding our own healing.
Mm-hmm.
But that unfolding of our own healing is not because we aren't perfect, whole, and complete. It is because it's like our healing is the particular way that our divinity is expressing itself, like the particular gifts that we are bringing to the world are all in those pieces, and all of those different pieces that we are kind of, that are coming up as we are healing.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. So I'm gonna, this is popped into me. I am going to invite you to give all of us, all of the viewers, an outrageous dare.
Outrageous
What
dare.
is it from your life experience as this artistic, creative, healer, pleasure woman? Mm, what outrageous dare do you wish to bestow upon us at this time?
My outrageous dare, I think, is to be be open to your wild twin. I'll explain what this means. I My outrageous dare is for each woman to like feel the depth of whatever it is that she's feeling, like make a space for all of those pieces that she might exile or run underground, like make a space for all of them to talk. Uh, so like your wild twin, I see, and the wild twin, the term is borrowed from Martin Shaw, who wrote The Courting of the Wild Twin. But I see it as this, this element of us that holds our desires and holds this kind of untapped power that we haven't yet quite claimed, because it's the power that comes up in triggers, in trick, like it's kind of like a trickstery power, like you'll think that you're doing something for one reason, but it'll really be another reason, and all of the kind of reversals that we have in our life. And so this, if you can just, my dare is give yourself 2 minutes a day to feel like rage or grief or whatever part of yourself you do not want to meet.
Oh, that's it. That's the dare. Whatever part of you, that's the outrageous dare too. That's going and meeting that part of you that does not want to be met.
Or that you do not want to meet because it kind of wants to meet you. And the wild twin wants to meet you, which is why she throws up all of these obstacles and trials and tribulations. And
yeah, she wants to be met. That's why she keeps coming up. She wants to be seen. She wants to be acknowledged. She wants to be witnessed. And at the end of the day, she wants to be loved and integrated.
yeah. And there's so much power in integrating her.
Oh, yeah. And that might be what we're afraid of, to be honest with you. Like if we were to go down that little path for just a quick second, there are those parts of us that were like, but what if we do go there? What's that going to unleash? What is that going to open me up to? And that might be even a bigger fear, but yet, as you said, we're not meant to get out of our way. We're meant to go through our way. We are that path to go and be where we need to be. And so if that wild twin keeps coming up, she's just saying, you're ready. You're ready.
Yeah. 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 Whatever she's throwing at you, she's doing it because you're ready for it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Sister Goddess Krista, thank you. This has been so beautiful,
My
so
pleasure.
magical. I am so grateful and feel so blessed to have you here. And for those of you that are watching, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, share with your friends. Because this is about bringing the pleasure out into the world. And we want to make sure that this is what we're doing and we're being in our pleasure. So, as we wrap this up, literally, what turns you on? Thank you.
Mm. What turns me on is my kid laughing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of the juiciness that goes with that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. It's my
Thank you.
pleasure.